Alana Cerrone O'Hare.
And I'm Nick Millard.
Welcome to PVD POV, where we bring you new insights into the coolest little city in the smallest state.
Whether you're a local looking to uncover hidden gems or a visitor eager to dive into our vibrant culture, we've got you covered.
Each week we'll be chatting with the movers and shakers right here in Providence, from restaurant owners to hoteliers and everyone in between.
And this week on PVD POV, we actually have a returning podcast guest, Nora Barré from the Downtown Providence Park Network. Yes, that one. Exactly. I want to make sure that I get that. Yeah, third time's a charm. Just make sure you get it right, you know?
Next time she comes in, you'll probably get it right.
No, I probably won't.
No.
It's okay. But no, she's a great person to have in Providence, and she works with us a lot. We chatted with her about some fun wayfinding stuff that she's going to be working on.
She's always doing something cool, yeah. Like basically all of the cool activations that you see in Providence throughout the year, you can thank Nora. And this one, we won't spoil it for you. You have to listen. But This one is very, very cool. It's year-round, something fun to look forward to. And let's just say she's got a public space baby, and she'll write your name.
Ooh, exactly. And there's also fun stuff that we chatted about, too. We got some fun things happening in the summer, too, about some events and everything that she's going to happen throughout the different parks in the city. And honestly, like for such a small team that she has working with her, which I think it's just her and maybe one or two other people.
Yeah, it's
like
small.
She gets so much stuff done. And it's great to have someone like her working for the city to kind of help, bring a great environment to the city too. Good energy to the city.
And by the way, that Taylor Swift line, okay, it's going to make sense once you listen to the episode.
Yeah, I mean the Taylor Swift, we'll get there. You'll get there. You'll understand.
Welcome to PVD POV. Today we're so happy to have our first ever return guest. Things went so great the first time around. So Nora Barré from Downtown Providence Park Network is back, and we're talking about a whole new project today. But we want to say thank you for coming back to join us.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. It's great to have great content for the podcast, but when you can come back twice, that's when you know we have some good content coming back.
And that's when you know you did a really good job.
Yeah, because sometimes we ask people to come back.
Great. Now everyone that we
no,
ask
just
to
kidding,
come back
just kidding.
Be like,
nope. No,
that was me.
I was lying. I was not being truthful there. But welcome back.
Me. Thank you.
So you got some great stuff coming up that we wanted to chat about, but. First of all, if you want to kind of just reintroduce yourself to people that are listening, kind of what you do at the downtown.
So I'm Nora Barré, the Downtown Providence Park Network Executive Director, which we're a nonprofit that activates and brings vibrancy and brings people downtown to hang out in public spaces and try to, just have a really, really vibrant calendar of events and working with partners and doing things ourselves.
Which you've done.
Yeah.
Yes. In the short time that we've worked with you over the past 2 years or so, it's been incredible. All of the programming you've brought to downtown year round, by the way, not just in the summer when you think about parks, like, I want to go to Providence and hit up India Point or whatever. You like the winter, Lumina, when we talked to you the first time, all of the stuff that you do year round is incredible. So we certainly appreciate your advocacy in getting people out.
Yeah, especially, the biggest thing I think that was great was Lumina, to bring people downtown in the need time of the winter. Because
it was basically like, get out of bed.
Yes.
Come on, you lazy people.
Yeah, it's not that cold. Come on, you can handle it. So
and bringing these big spectacles, right? That really attracts people.
And people really loved it. And I think that's, especially this last Lumina, I think was really great, where you had the Jack in the Box type pop up things that people really loved.
Yeah.
And even the ice skaters too were great.
The ice skaters were amazing. I actually I had seen videos of them and had seen them live in Stowe, but to see them in person, I was like, wow.
Right.
They're in Providence. And I heard that, we did a survey following that. So I heard that a lot of people saying that was incredible because they were professional ice skaters that have competed.
Internationally.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And some, I think there was one from Providence.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get that story. That would have been a nice thing to kind of.
I should have told you that.
Yeah, it's okay. Next time.
Next time.
We're good.
I like that you draw inspiration from other cities, because if it can work in other cities, why can't it work here? We have infrastructure. We have a rink. We have parks. We have transportation. We have hotels, obviously.
Yes.
So,
and we have a center to our downtown that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And really well connected. Yeah. There's a lot of downtowns that work towards getting connected public spaces. And we have that, like getting a loop. And we already have that in existence from the Point Street Bridge to the basin.
yeah, so talk about that connectivity, because the Downtown Providence Park Network does operate from on that loop, from park on one end to the park on the other end. So talk about that connectivity and what your goal is, and then maybe a sneak peek at your latest project that you told us about, the CVB at the CVB last month.
That's right. So, when I was interviewing for this position, a lot of things that came up during my interview process was that these public spaces are right next to each other, but they're not connected cohesively. Like visually, people don't know that you can go further, for example, in the loop. And it was one of the goals was to get that done. And so the Downtown Providence Park Network is a nonprofit that does the activation and vibrancy and connects these spaces together in so many different ways. So we stretch from the Point Street Bridge all the way down to the water basin and then up the stairs into the Kennedy Plaza, Biltmore, Rink, and Burnside Park. And a lot of, I've just kind of drawn a lot of inspirations from various places I've visited and from our own state. There's a lot of towns that do all these cohesively kind of cool projects to make spaces look tied together. And so we, applied for some funding, received it, and it's funny, like, because when you're a child, you sometimes have these things in your imagination, like this scheme of, like, doing something, and I kind of feel, like, really privileged, because I feel like this is, like, a scheme in my head that is now coming to fruition with the help of so many partners. And so we want to tie these public spaces together, mostly for pedestrians and tourists and residents that live here, and so we're like, how can we do that? So the very first initial phase of this project, it's a wayfinding project, is creating 200 banners that are going to be installed on lampposts from the Point Street Bridge all the way down to the basin and then up into those Greater Kennedy Plaza area. And we wanted to work with local artists and not just have them be repetitive, because there are different parks all along this public spaces downtown, and we want to make sure they're named and they're identified and represented on the banners. And then we just feel like we're living in a time where not everyone feels welcome and they belong. And Providence and Rhode Island, we wanted to really pay respect to our origin story, in that everyone belongs here and everyone is welcomed here. And so we thought, let's do that with the banners. And how could we do that? And so the banners will comprise, as I said, of 200 different banners. They'll be in 3 different categories. One will be wayfinding for pedestrians. It'll say something like, you are 10 minutes away from the train station. You are 15 minutes away from track 15. Like, it'll give that kind of direction.
So smart, because we take for granted that we know walking around the city every day, like, it's essentially like 5-minute walk here, it's 7-minute walk there, but people who are visiting, they don't know. And they read about Providence like, oh, we're so pedestrian friendly, we're the second most walkable city in the U.S., and so they're out here walking, and we forget, like, oh, they need to know where to go to.
Yeah, exactly. We have, like, our things, our little maps that we have over at the visitor center, too, that kind of help with those, too. And we could, work with trying to, like, make those a little bit better for you. But people don't want to be carrying around a map the whole time. They do have their phone. I mean, Google Maps is a thing. Like, I know when I was traveling abroad, I Google mapped everywhere. I was like, I didn't have anywhere without my phone.
Right.
But it's nice to have those, like, visible points of interest where you can say, like, okay, cool, I got here.
Especially when they look nice. How many times have you been stopped? I've been stopped so many times. Like, I guess I look like I know where I'm going when I'm walking to the office, and so people will stop. Well, I don't look like lost. Maybe I do. But they've asked me, oh, how do you get to, like, I'm looking for so-and-so, or I'll ask someone who looks lost. You can tell they're looking around, they're looking at their phone, and I'm like, oh, what are you looking for? And, like, last week, this guy, he stopped me near the Omni, and he was looking for, what street was it? Some street it was not a fun walk. Like, he had to cross over, like, the highway. I forget
Yeah.
what. Oh, he was going over past, like, Promenade Street.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, where the heck is Promenade Street? Because I'm not going to pull out my phone and look like an amateur.
Yeah.
So I took my best guess, and I sent that guy on his way, and I really
Hope he got there. Yeah.
That is so
Well,
funny.
now if we have a complaint that's sent to our visitor office,
I never told him where I worked.
Okay.
Oh, that's
All
a good
right.
thing.
Just
Don't
in
ever-
case.
It's like, no, he's gonna know. He's like, I'm gonna go to the visitor information center and complain to them.
Yeah, that this
And like, that's a lot.
this
That's so
spokesperson, she has no idea. She sent me to, like, Lincoln.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
But so 200 banner signs,
Yeah.
like that's great. Like that's a lot.
Well,
Like, so you said
Yeah.
you had three different categories between
Right.
like wayfinding and what else?
And then there's going to be one category of that's, just going to be kind of a representation of the space. Like if we're in Burnside Park, it'll be like a drop of water from the Burnside Fountain. It all fits within one palette. And then the third kind of banner will be, the representation of the historical pieces, the faces of Providence, and architectural things that make Providence what it is and who's contributed to it to make us all feel like we belong here. So we want it to be really reflective.
And it's great when
of
these
everyone.
things, it's great when these things can kind of reflect the community that they're in too, and not
Yes.
just be like a cookie cutter thing that's just like dropped into the city. Because
Yes.
a lot of times you go to a city and you just see blank signs.
Right.
It's like,
Exactly.
you're here, you're
Mean
there.
anything.
It's like just some text and a little bit of color. But if you, like, I really like, and we've seen a sneak preview of some of these signs.
Right.
And, some of the ones that might not be approved yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But like all the creative looks amazing.
Yeah.
And
You
it looks really great.
Did a great job. And, like, everything has a meaning.
Exactly.
And the color palette's great, but, yeah, the little drops of water. And every neighborhood in the city really is so different. It has a different history and has a different draw now. So it makes sense that you kind of, like,
Exactly.
it has to be cohesive, but it also has to tell a different story.
Exactly.
So not an easy job to do, but
It's hard. We've done research on it for a while.
I know.
And the thing is, like, there's so much concrete in the buildings, and it's, I think, having a banner will kind of soften that a bit, right? With really bright colors, it'll visually draw your eye towards, like, the various, because you'll want to see more and more and more. And not just that, like, in addition to the banners and the history and the story we're telling, we're building this digital interface. In the background, there's going to be a QR code. Everybody's walking around with a phone these days. They're going to scan it, and then they're going to learn. If you choose, you can learn more about the banner. And in addition to that, there's going to be an interactive 3D map that is going to tell you where you are. It's going to show you the other banners ahead of you. It's going to be like, this piece that really pushes pedestrian throughout the public spaces downtown. Because sometimes somebody might be at the pedestrian bridge and not know track 15 is at the bottom, or, at the very end of that loop. Or not know there's a kayak rental where you can go in the water and kayak. Or, just like all the various and amazing fun things all along the footprint is what we're going to highlight in this digital interface.
and
we're
love that.
building
That's
that.
right. You
Yeah.
talked about that. That's so great. It's
Yeah.
almost like another self-guided walking tour that people
Exactly.
can take, but it doesn't. You can take it wherever. You
Yeah.
can go every which way, and you don't have to follow a map. You can just kind of meander.
You explore and you find
Exactly.
things. That's, the thing.
That's
It's like,
so
and that's what
great.
people like to do when they're traveling. Is like they just kind of like to stumble upon things and explore. This kind of helps them do that organically instead of
Exactly.
being like sheep herded towards
Yeah.
different places.
True,
Right.
that's so true. And well, like one of the things we're doing to push people even more to kind of explore and do like a treasure hunt is that we're working with Le Monde Studio because, this all stems from feedback we've received from community surveys as well from Lumina. So in Lumina, a lot of the complaints were like, why do we not have these like pieces year round, these interactive art pieces? Why do we not have them all the time? So I thought, okay, how can we take this and address that through this project? And so we're working with Le Monde Studio, who we rent from for Lumina. We rent all these, pieces temporarily. We said to them, we want to have this project. It's a wayfinding project with a theme that you belong here. And we immediately thought of an anchor as a symbol for Providence and Rhode Island, is that, you're anchored here, you belong here. And we asked if they would maybe consider creating interactive anchors, because they don't have those in existence. And so we're also going to incorporate into this wayfinding is these life-size 4x7 approximately anchors that have a crank on them that will play music that we can customize to Rhode Island, artists, and then you'll crank them for 8 seconds and it'll light up for like 8 minutes. So
Love that.
they'll be in various colors all over the footprint, and people have to find them.
Question.
So, yes.
Could we put the podcast on an anchor? I think that's what we need to do.
Like little snippets of it.
Apparently, if we play music on this podcast,
Yeah,
you and I want
8 minutes.
sing.
Yeah, I think we could do an 8-minute snippet of it.
Well, the 8 minutes is the lighting.
Oh,
but-
the lighting.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
the audio.
crank
Okay,
is
all
as
right,
long as
all
you
right.
crank it, it'll play. So,
We could sit there for 20
excited.
minutes cranking an anchor
Yeah.
and trying to get
We-
the podcast going.
We'll
We'll get our numbers up. We're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So, yeah,
We
this
want
is,
people to stay. At the
Okay.
thing,
Oh,
you know?
okay. Sorry. All right. Yeah.
and so we're going to make a game of it. Like on this,
Yeah.
is that find all 5 anchors spread out through
Yeah.
the space. And they're going to be really vivid during the day, and they're going to light up at night. So that'll incorporate a permanent piece of lumina.
Yeah. And this studio has a lot of experience.
Yes, they're amazing. They have offices in Texas and various places across the U.S. and Canada, and they work with a lot of awesome artists.
And that's something that I love, and I think is really great that you got from the response from Lumina, is having something permanent here. Because like
Yeah.
you said, it's nice to have the exhibits for the little while during Lumina, for the
Exactly.
winter and everything like that. But the problem is that when people see the pictures of it and say, "Oh, cool, I'm going to go check that out," it's not there anymore.
Right,
Once it-
right.
you know,
they don't
you-
have to wait another year. They
Yeah.
can see it all year round.
Exactly. So it's like something like that.
Exactly.
It's great that they can
Isn't
kinda-
this the studio company that works with Universal?
Yes, they are working with Universal to design a theme park, and also they worked with Taylor Swift.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
for her concerts, I don't know if you've
Oh my
seen them.
gosh.
They've done like
Well, on
these
TV,
large
yeah.
interactive, like what are the boots? What are the country boots called?
Cowboy boots?
Cowboy boots. They've got this like huge cowboy boot that you can kind
Yeah.
of crank and
yeah.
customized
Yeah.
to her colors, and a lipstick, like her
Yeah.
red
Yes.
lipstick. And so they've taken those and kind of installed them prior to her concert to get people excited about
Nice.
her concert.
Oh,
so she
I love
noticed
that.
them.
Yep.
So that's a connection for Rhode
Seriously.
Island.
So
They're our
she
fellow
is-
Rhode Islander.
Yeah.
I was gonna say she is a Rhode Island resident.
Exactly.
So, ribbon cutting, Taylor Swift.
I know. I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it's
I think we
high on
can
her
make-
radar is coming to this
I
ribbon
think we-
cutting.
I think we can
Totally,
make it.
totally. She feels like she belongs here. She
Who do we
has
know?
to come.
I mean, come on, it's Rhode Island. We got to know a guy.
I feel like there's a way to incorporate her song Blank Space into like public space. She could make a
Ooh.
remix about
I
this.
love. We should actually just sparked an idea. We should try for that.
She's a philanthropic. She
And
might
she
be
is
down
she would
for
do that. She
Like,
we should
don't
just
you
send
wanna
her the
help?
podcast.
I love that. I'm
I
gonna
agree.
reach out and figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DM her.
Yeah.
You're
'Cause
so
that
brilliant.
Travis,
That
Travis-
works with all
She
celebrities.
does respond to DMs, doesn't she?
She probably does, honestly. We'll just tag her a bunch of times. We'll use the JWU Hospitality Management School
True.
reach.
Yeah.
We'll get them. Yeah. No, but we're very excited about this. And when can people start seeing these banners pop up?
So they're gonna start in June.
Okay.
And, also, like, we've paid attention to so many things, including the details of the hardware. Like in Canada, they have a lot of, just inclement weather. And so they have some really good places where you can get this hardware that lasts throughout all the seasons. So
That's important.
So that's very important. So they'll start in June, and there'll be the different phases. And one of the other phases is also taking the banner content and bringing it onto the ground. So building some ground murals, art murals
Cool.
in between crossings are really heavy for pedestrians. And
Is this an avenue concept thing, or you
it'll
work with
be, we'll
someone
work
else, maybe?
with local artists,
Yeah.
and might include like some from the Avenue Concept
Yeah.
and Buena Grafica. Also, they're two artists, Tatiana and Jose, work with a lot of local artists. So I think we'll do a mixture of both. And so it starts in June, and then it'll complete by September.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping before that, but
Yeah.
but that's kind of the timeline we've given ourselves. And then once they're all finished, we're going to do this pop-up series by the banners to bring them to life. So depending on what this banner is depicting, whether it's like the Guatemalan community, maybe we'll bring like specialty empanada makers to like kind of just like bring things to life in sight and sound and smell and experience.
That's great. And you do a really great job with the programming for stuff like this too, like when you have the events around them too. Like we've talked about Lumina, we've talked about everything else, but then also like the year-round stuff that you guys work on too is great.
Yeah.
What do you have kind of going on for the summer? Because you got some concert series.
Yeah, we're gonna kick off a concert series for the summer. We did that last summer, and that was really successful and fun way to kind of activate the public spaces. So we'll do that. There's a lot happening too. The Providence Drum Troupe is regularly at the bridge doing a lot of activation every Sunday and Tuesday, I believe. There is a concert series that's happening on the bridge. We're working with our Latino Arts are going to do on July 20th. They're planning to do a play in Spanish. That's going to be really, really cool. Yeah. There's just so many things that we're going to be working on. We're going to do a lot of family-centered activities too. And we're kind of just working with partners to build a year-round activation calendar.
And I love that so much of this stuff is free to attend.
Yes.
Like people don't realize there's a lot of free stuff to do in Providence, and that the Downtown Providence Park does a lot of them.
Yes, of course. Like things should be, like you don't ever want people to feel left out.
Right. Yeah. There's no admission price to getting into the parks.
No. It's a public space that's open for all, that welcomes all, and it is our town square. These public spaces to bring our community together.
And that's great for people like me that don't plan a lot ahead of time, because you can just like say, okay, what are we doing today, and then just look at the calendar and say, oh, cool, this is going on. We can go walk over.
Exactly.
You don't have to buy a ticket ahead and like worry about things. So I think it's a really great thing to kind of have, especially for visitors too, because they're oftentimes not planning and booking out their like they might have a last minute weekend trip that they're coming downtown.
And they're waiting to see if the weather is good.
Exactly.
Right.
So we get a lot of those, especially in the drive market. We get a lot of people that just come down to or
Exactly.
even for a day, which is great. Coming down from Boston or from Connecticut and stuff like that.
We're also in Down City. They're gonna bring back Movies on the Block.
Yes, I
That's
saw that.
happening, which we love, and they're one of our great partners. 195 is having all these various events happening throughout the summer as well. Like, so it's just like all these various partners and community groups, and they're all working together to keep it really, really vibrant and happening, where you're right, you don't have to look at the calendar. As the mayor says, like you could just come downtown and things are happening.
You don't have to plan on this weekend only. Like any given night, pretty much. Weeknight and weekend. There's fun stuff happening.
Exactly, which the city has really been supportive of and behind, is that making sure they're supportive of all the various groups doing various things throughout the year to make sure fun things are happening for everyone.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate all your work and supporting all of these initiatives and making this Wayfinding project come to life, because we know it was your baby. You did months and years of research on it. We can't wait to see it come to fruition, and we'll pop some images up of what we can share so that everyone who's listening can know what those banners are when they see them pop up around downtown.
Exactly. Keep an eye on it. I mean, and 200 banners like that. That is crazy. That's
lot. Not easy.
That's a lot. Right?
Yeah. I mean, how do you sleep?
No. I do.
That's right.
I do.
Last time we talked, you said that you wish you had another you at least.
Yeah,
yes.
seriously.
We need another Nora around to kind of help us.
I need another energetic person.
Yeah.
that can kind of give things to do. Not now.
And probably not for another year.
That's
exactly.
all right.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming back on our first return podcast guest, and thank you for all that you do for us.
Thanks for having. Thanks for being such an awesome partner.
Of course. We'll see you next time.
We all do it together.
Back.
It's not just me.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nora.
Thank you.
PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcasts. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.